Welcome to qnawire.
In this question, we are asked to solve the given system of linear equations. And to do that, we first need to create its augmented matrix. Its augmented matrix consists of the coefficients in front of x1, x2, x3, and x4, and the last column of the augmented matrix is the right-hand side. So the first row is going to be 1, 2. Note that there is no x3's in the first equation, and this means that we will place 0 for x3, because it basically corresponds to 0x3 in this position. And 1 and 0. This is the first row. The second row is going to be 4, 9, 1, 12, and 0. The third row is going to be 3, 9, 6, 12, 0. And the last row is going to be 1, 3, 1, 9, 0. So this is the augmented matrix of the system of equations. We will separate the right-hand sides by a vertical bar. Now we need to reduce this matrix to the row reduced echelon form. And to do that, we will multiply the first row by -4 and add it to the second row. We will multiply the first row by -3 and add it to the third row. And we will multiply the first row by -1 and add it to the last row. Now, in the second row, we are going to get 1 times -4 plus 4 is going to be 0. So we can call it 0. 2 times -4 is -8. -8 plus 9 equals to 1. So we will replace this by 1. Next, 0 times -4 is 0, plus 1 is 1. So this entry, we are not changing this entry. Then 1 times -4 is -4, and 12 minus 4 equals to 8. And 0 times -4 plus 0 is going to be 0. So we are done with the second row. Let's move on to the third row. 1 times -3 plus 3 is going to be 0. Two times -3 is -6. -6 plus 9 is 3. Zero times -3 is 0. Plus 6 is going to be 6. And 1 times -3 is -3. -3 plus 12 is 9. We are going to get 9. And the last column is going to be same. Now, now we are done with the third column, with the third row. Now let's move on to the fourth row. 1 times -1 plus 1 is going to be 0. 2 times -1 is -2. -2 plus 3 is 1. Zero times -1 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. And 1 times -1 is -1 plus 9 is going to be 8. And we are done with the last row. Alright, now what we are going to do next is we will use the second row. We will multiply the second row by -3 and add it to the third row to get rid of this 3. And we will multiply the second row by -1 and add it to the last row to get rid of this 1. We will rewrite the first two rows. They are not going to change. In the third row, we are going to get 0, 0. 1 times -3 is -3, plus 6 is 3. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. Negative 24 plus 9 is negative 15. And in the last row, we are going to get 1 times negative 1 plus 1 is going to be 0. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1 plus 1 is going to be 0. 8 times negative 1 is negative 8 plus 8 is going to be 0. Next, we will divide the third row by 3. And after dividing the third row by 3, we are going to get 1 at this position. And negative 15 will become negative 5. Now we will go backwards. We will multiply the third row by negative 1 and add it to the second row. We will rewrite the first row, the third row in the fourth row, and in the second row we are going to get 0, 1, 0, and 5 plus 8 is going to be 13. And we will just rewrite the remaining two rows. And the last step is to multiply the second row by negative 2 and add it to the first row to get rid of these two. So what we're going to get is, well, 1 times negative 2 plus 2 is going to be 0. So we're going to get 0 here. Then 0 times negative 2 plus 0 is 0. 13 times negative 2 is negative 26. Negative 26 plus 1 is negative 25. Alright, now our matrix is in the row reduced echelon form. And we are ready to write down the solutions. x1 equals, so there are 3 pivot columns, and the last column is a non-pivot column, and this means that x4 is a free variable. So we are going to write down the solution in terms of x4. x1 equals to 25x4, x2 equals to negative 13x4, x3 equals to 5x4, and x4 is a free variable. Or as a vector, we can write this as x equals to 25, negative 13, 5, and 1 multiplied by x4. There are infinitely many solutions. For every value of x4, there is a solution. So this is a general solution of the system of equations.